Oracle Taleo Social Sourcing Cloud Service enhances and automates recruiting processes, giving you better results with less effort. Whether you're launching a major recruiting campaign or addressing specialized hiring needs, social sourcing can harness the power of your employees and social media. As a recruiter, I can select jobs I want to send to my employees, and in turn, I can select the most relevant employees for these jobs. With referrals on demand, I can select exactly which recipients I want to receive a particular job. I can choose them based on different criteria such as last contacted, location, and department. Once I've seen the group I want to select, I'll continue to choose which job I would like to send to them. In a similar way to how I chose my recipients, I can use the faceted search in order to choose by location or category to find the job which I would like to send to my recipients. And then once I have found my job, I can look through the job description, even look at the YouTube video to make sure it's the correct one for me. And additionally on this page, we can also see how many times it's been viewed, shared, and how many applications have been made. Now I have my group of employees which I would like to send the job to, and I also have the correct job. So the next stage will be to compose the message which I want the employees to receive. I can choose from a number of templates which have already been created. In this case we have a modern example and we also have a classic example. Once I choose my template, the subject, the headline and the body of the message will then be populated automatically. I can change this as I wish in order to customize the message which I want my employees to receive and ensure the best message is passed on for this job. And finally, once I've made any necessary changes to the text, I can preview the message to see how it will look to my employees. And now all I need to do is hit send to recipients in order for my employees to begin sharing this job with their peers and friends. In addition to on-demand referrals, I can also create automated referral campaigns. Automated referral marketing campaigns allow me to schedule when and to whom jobs are sent to. In a similar way to on-demand referrals, we can choose using the faceted search, and we can use different criteria such as department, location, and last contacted. Then, once we have our select pool of recipients that we'd like to send the message to, we can continue to choose which message we would like to send to them. And once again, we can choose different templates which the recipients will receive, such as containing targeted jobs based on that person, a simple letter with no jobs. We can have a classic one with targeted jobs once again, or classic with no jobs and simply a message asking to refer their friends. And now we've chosen our template, once again we can look through it to see how it will look for our recipients and continue to edit the message as required in order to make sure that the message is relevant and in turn that we receive the best candidates from our employee referrals. Now we have our group of recipients, we have our template, it's time to create a schedule for when this message is sent out. And we have a number of different options when it comes to scheduling our message, such as how many times it's repeated, which days it's sent on, which time and time zone it is sent on, when the schedule should start, and when the schedule should finish. And once we've established our schedule, we can begin it without the intervention from HR or recruitment, saving a lot of time and effort from their side. As an employee, I can apply to jobs which I've received by email, and I can also share them on my social networks. As an employee, I received an email asking if I know anybody who may be interested in this job. I can see a short job description as well as the location, which should be able to help me think of some good potential candidates for the job. After clicking the link, it brings me to the social sourcing landing pages, where I can log in with Facebook, Twitter or LinkedIn. By using these different forms of social media, I can automatically have access to many potential different candidates, as well as a new medium to be able to share the job with them. Now I'm signed in with my LinkedIn account. Automatically, social sourcing gives me some suggestions that may be a good fit for this particular job, based on their LinkedIn profiles and how the job is put together. I can very quickly and easily share this with all of my contacts on LinkedIn as a status update. So, within a very short space of time, this job has been sent out to all of my contacts on LinkedIn. In addition to sharing this as a LinkedIn status update, I can also send this job directly to people on my LinkedIn via a personal message. And immediately I already have some suggested matches based on the job and the LinkedIn profile. In addition to the suggested matches, I can also use the keyword or name search. If I know someone who may be a good fit automatically, I can search for their name. In this case, I'll search for sales, which will then bring up anyone on my LinkedIn who should have sales within their profile. Now the results are here. I can scroll through and see who would be a good fit, and then I can include them in the message with the previous potential candidate. Each employee who's logged into social sourcing can track their activity. In this case, we can see that I have shared 3 links, and we can look into them and see which jobs they are and when they've been shared. Additionally, how many times they've been clicked since I've shared them. And then we can also see which candidates have applied and for which jobs they've applied to. On the rest of the page, I can see things such as top referrers, any jobs which are similar to this one, and a general feed, so I can see within the organisation who is sharing what. Many organisations have social network pages with huge amounts of followers. These followers need to be tapped into as potential candidates for the organisation. As a recruiter, I can post jobs to these social networks, and I can also schedule campaigns as well. In a similar way to the referral campaigns, I first need to select an audience of where I want to post the jobs to. As an organisation, I can have countless amounts of Facebook and Twitter pages of where to distribute my jobs to. The organisation can make use of its own social networks such as Facebook and Twitter. Additionally, as a recruiter within the organisation, I can add my own Twitter account in order to be able to send these jobs to my followers on Twitter. In a similar way to referrals on demand, an organisation can post jobs to its social networks there and then. And as we did with the referrals on demand, it goes through a very similar process. Firstly, we need to choose our jobs, and once again, this can be done using the faceted search functionality. Once we have our job, it's time to look at the message which we want to send to our followers. Similarly, we can preview the message here. We can personalize the message and make sure that we have a relevant status for our followers. And then we can post it to our social network. This will then be posted immediately for our fans and followers to see. And straight away you can see here, the job has now been posted to our social network page. Once a candidate clicks on it, the candidate can then click on it, and then they're brought through to the social sourcing page where they can apply. In addition to posting instantly to our social networks for our fans and followers, we can also schedule when these jobs are posted to the likes of Facebook or Twitter. In the same way as we have done previously, we would choose the job which we want to send out to our fans and followers. Then we would customize the message as required, and then we would begin to create the campaign, firstly by giving it a name, and then once we've given it the name, we would establish a schedule of when we would like it to be sent out. Once again, we can choose the frequency, we can choose which days it's sent on, and we can choose what time. And once the schedule is established, it means that, once again, less work is required from the recruiter. They don't need to intervene as often as they normally would, so it saves a lot of time and effort. As a recruiter, I'm able to see vital statistics from my campaigns, such as how many links have been shared, how many times they've been clicked, how many candidates have come through this, and what the best sources are. The analytics within social sourcing give me access to some very important information. I can look into my campaign activity and see things such as the population, the total community population, how many times jobs have been shared, how many times they've been viewed, and how many job starts there have been. I can drill down into each of one of my campaigns, such as Facebook, and see how many links have been posted, how many posts per day, and so on. Furthermore, I can see for other social networks, such as Twitter, and then I can even define specific dates so I can get a much more in-depth look into how my campaigns are performing and if I need to make any changes to them. In addition to the raw data, I can also see my campaigns in terms of these line graphs, so I have a much more visual representation of how my campaigns are doing, and I can further drill down into each one to find out more information related to my campaigns.